All right. So, um, and Ruth, I'd like to hear, why don't you tell us about, well, the kind of thing that happens when TJ meets people.
So this specific incident, we were in line at a bakery and TJ had been really good. So we were taking him out for a treat and we're standing in line and the person in front of us looked very female and TJ couldn't see her face. And when she went to order, the voice was deeper than what he was expecting. And his very matter-of-fact self, he said, "Excuse me, what's wrong with your voice?" And she turned around and she said, "Hi, my name is Susan." And that was enough. TJ was like, "Oh, hi, Susan. Nice to meet you. I'm TJ. What are you buying?" And they just went on and had a wonderful conversation. And when we got back into the car, my husband said, "TJ, do you understand why that person's voice was different?" And TJ said, "Well, Susan just has a different voice." And we left it at that. We thought, you know what, that's exactly right. Susan has a different voice. And, she had told TJ that she was working on her voice becoming different. And they had a nice little conversation in the bakery. And he didn't require any additional, he had no other questions for us. And so we didn't feel like there were any additional answers needed. The next day at school, they have a homeroom time, and TJ's been virtual this whole year, even here in Memphis. And the homeroom teacher and social studies teacher asked him, well, what happened over the weekend? And TJ talked about meeting Susan. And he said, "Susan had the body of a lady and the voice of a man, but her name is Susan." And all the other third graders were like, "Wow, that's cool, cool. My mom's got a deep voice too." Just started, as children will. And the homeroom teacher said, "Well, what's Susan's real name?" And TJ said, "Susan." And she said, "What is its real name?" And my office is right next to TJ's room where he does school. And my ears perked up at that. And active listening took over. And I thought I'll give her one more chance to autocorrect herself. And she said, "We call people by their proper pronouns in this class. Susan is a he, and that's not its real name." And I interrupted the class and put myself on his video and said, "Susan is her real name and her pronouns are her and she until she tells us they are they and them. And if we need to have a deeper conversation about that, we can do so with the guidance counselor and the principal."
Wow.
And she said she thought that would be a good idea. So we set that meeting up. And my husband and I met with the principal and the teacher and the guidance counselor and discussed how important it is to teach kindness and accuracy, and that nowhere in their curriculum does it state that they should be referring to anyone other than how they present themselves, and that this is a public school that receives federal funding. And we noted some very specific things about that, and that if this was an issue for her, that perhaps she would be better served as a teacher in a private school. And that TJ's way was the correct way, and that we should all strive to be more like TJ. And the principal agreed with us. And she has had a few other instances where she forgot to use the proper pronouns in referring to people, and tried to teach them that Christopher Columbus is the savior of North America and discovered all kinds of things and never did anything wrong. So we've had lots of encounters with this social studies teacher. And when I was talking to John about this beforehand, I said, the sad thing is when the principal pulled us aside afterward and said that so many of the issues that they have are because they don't have the funding for new curriculum. So they're using curriculum that is 10 to 20 years old, and that teachers are allowed to deviate from that, but their lesson plans have to be pre-approved. And that if they don't submit a lesson plan, they're allowed to teach whatever the school book tells them to, which is sadly outdated, full of systemic racism and lots of homophobia. And so we have asked that going forward in school years, we see copies of curriculums as parents are allowed to do, and that we can address those issues with teachers as needed. So that's kind of the stance that we've taken on.
Wow. Ruth, I just want to say thank you so much. Can you hear me? Sorry.
I can hear you, yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that story. As upsetting as it all is, first of all, thank you and TJ for speaking up. And it was what a wonderful learning opportunity it was for him. I assume you told him what happened at the conference you and your husband had with the principal. But to me, part of the worst of it was the idea of referring to a human being as it. I mean, I can see he or she, I mean, not that, well, it's got to be a he or a she. I could see that, and that's not great. But the idea of just dehumanizing someone like that is just disgusting. And I think it's so, I mean, and part of the scary thing to me is, okay, you happen to be right there, but think of all the times in normal school when it's not pandemic and we're not all Zooming, when you wouldn't have been right next door to give the teacher one last chance to autocorrect and then see that you failed and have to step in. We don't even get those chances normally, but it sounds like you and your husband are making this amazing little boy who will be able to go out and speak up. And I mean, so hats off to you.
Well, so much of it is TJ hasn't indicated to us where TJ is in his life. We don't know if he's gay, straight, asexual, bisexual. We don't know. He may be trans. We don't know yet, and we're gonna watch and see whatever he indicates that he is, and go from there. But I don't ever want TJ, even being autistic, to refer to as it. No one is an it. And the other gift is that Rory has met my husband in person, and we lovingly refer to him as a redneck. He looks very Southern stereotypical, flannel, tattoos, beard, he's that kind of look. And it was a wonderful moment for the school to see someone who they wouldn't normally expect to stand up for someone in that community, to stand up for them, and to stand up for TJ. And the proper way that we should all be. But yeah, TJ's a wonderful teacher, and unless you're wearing something you don't want commented on, don't come around TJ. Let me see if I can get him in here to say hi.
Hi, TJ.
Say hi.
Hey, TJ.
Hi, TJ.
Hi, TJ.
Hi, TJ.
You're
Hi,
famous.
TJ.
Hi, TJ.
TJ's famous.
Hi there.
Hi there.
TJ.
All right, you can be done. Thank you.
I'm just thinking, I was about to make a game for me and Wesley to.
Oh,
Heroes in small packages, right? Yeah. And Ruth, I wanted to ask you another question. There was apparently some further sort of ultimate response from the teacher as the school year. Was it as the school year came to a close, or?
She sent a letter to all of us that said that she was oh, my brain is completely blanking, John. I'm so sorry. It's been a long day. She had sent emails home, or emails to all the parents previously. I think this may be what you're referencing, that
Yes.
she was grateful to have had students in their class, and that she was very glad that it's the way she could continue on in her normal fashion next year. And I said, well, I look forward to I'm a parent, I'm a classroom parent, even not in the pandemic. I make time in my schedule to come and do that. So I look forward to seeing her and being present in her classroom and helping her along the way in 2022-21 school year. So she's laid the gauntlet down a little bit, but we're going to be there.
And she, I don't know how honest it was, but expressed some appreciation for your active role as parents.
Yeah, she did. She thanked us for being active listeners and that she was glad that virtual teaching was coming to an end. And I really just wanted to respond, I'm sure you are, but we're still going to be around, so don't worry about that.
That's yeah, that's amazing. Let me just set everything back normal for the, okay, awesome. Yeah, and I think, and I've said this before, that sometimes living in a place like New York City, we kind of get lulled into forgetting, some of the attitudes that are still out there. And it's good to be reminded. As a matter of fact, the theme for the New York City Pride Parade this year is "The Fight Continues." And I think that's something that we sometimes find it so easy to forget, at least in some areas. But, again, it's good not just to have our cohort out in the non-urban places to remind us, but also to, step up as you guys did and, educate people who need education. I don't know about, I was gonna say, yeah, I don't know about the New York area, but either here or in other areas, has anybody else ever run into some interesting situation that where education might have been helpful? Okay. All
I
right.
mean, I can regale you with hundreds of horror stories. But one that, comical, I guess, and very quick, that wasn't, so I'm talking maybe 2 years ago. My parents are in Ocean City, Maryland, which is, a little bit of a redneck Riviera next to Myrtle Beach. It competes. So, but I had fun, whatever. But my partner and I went into one of like the Crab Shack or something, and it was very, very much like a movie. Like music stopped, everybody stopped and looked at us, and we couldn't get service. I wasn't wearing, my usual wig and heels either, just standard shorts and t-shirt. But it was obvious I was with the man I was with, and yeah, no, they wouldn't serve us. So that was a reminder of just 5 hours away outside of New York.
So what did you do, Brian? Or
We went
say?
elsewhere. I'll spend my money somewhere else.
But did you say something like that to them, or did you just leave?
No, there was nobody in there that would have cared. Patrons and bar staff.
But it was the bar staff who wouldn't serve you, or somebody wouldn't. See that. I don't know. I'm like TJ. I would have said something.
It depends.
Looking for a good night, and I'll spend my money somewhere else. Now, had I had a couple drinks in me at that point, who knows? But it was early in the evening, so a reminder. It's still very much prevalent and lots of growing to do. And I tip well.
Well, that was definitely their loss.
I had to step out for a quick meeting. Are we talking about discrimination type things, or did that just, is that?
Any situations we run into where education may come in handy.
I ran into one just yesterday, actually. If was somebody next, or am I taking somebody's space?
No,
okay.
Go right ahead.
My nephew is getting married at the end of September or middle of September, and so it's sort of a remote area out in the middle of Tennessee, and people are staying at Airbnbs and some hotels, my brother sent me a text and said, "Oh, try this place. It's a camp and conference center. It's a Christian camp and conference center, not too far. It looks sort of like Canuga. Once you give them a shot, because some other people have gotten rooms there." And so I called and said, "I'm coming down for my nephew's wedding, and I understand you have some chalets that are, these little chalet things set up for rental. I'd like to rent one. We don't need anything big. It's just 2 of us." And she said, "Well, all of our chalets sleep 6, and oh, okay, great. Some other family can stay with us too. All right, let's put you down. Is it going to be just you and your wife on the reservation?" And I said, "Well, actually, it's going to be me and my husband." Cricket, cricket, cricket. And so when I heard this deafening silence, I said, "That's okay, isn't it?" And she said, I don't know. I'm going to have to check with our director."
Hmm.
And I said, "Really? That's very interesting." I said, and and she said, "What's your number?" And I gave her my number. I said, "We'll have either my director or I will call you back." And I said, "That'd be really good. I'd like to hear what you have to say." And I haven't heard anything. And I don't think I will. And it's supposedly a Christian, well, we know what kind of Christian organization it is, but that's the first time I've ever encountered anything like that, ever. And it makes me realize of how that we live in a bubble here. And I'll take my business elsewhere.
The bubble is wild. Like, I don't know. I shouldn't be stunned by these stories because, of course, like, I'm always stunned when humans are terrible, but my fiance is never stunned when humans are terrible, so we're different that way. But yeah, the bubble is real. Anyway, I'm speechless.
My brother asked me, he said, "Well, why didn't you tell him that you were just going to stay with your mother? Because our mother's going to be one of the people." And I said, "Because I've never gotten that question before. I've never been asked that question before. And it sort of took me by surprise, so that's why I answered." Yes.
I will share this because I actually thought it was a normal question, because 2 years in a row, I've rented Airbnb, and it's just through the app. But it's weird because this year we were trying to find a spot that would fit a little more people. And I guess they called themselves like the house manager. I think she manages the house, but she's not the actual person who owns the rental.
Right.
And she emailed, she's like, "Oh, would you like to do this contract offline?" I said, "No, I'd rather have the protection of Airbnb that has like the deposit and stuff." She's like, "Oh, no, you'll get a discount." And then when she sent me the form, it asked, "Are you coming with family? Will you be with your spouse?" It had a whole bunch of weird question on it where I don't think it's appropriate that they ask of renters. And when I did approach her and asked her, and she said, "Well, we just want to make sure it's the right crowd or right renters." And I said, "I'm sorry, my DNI hat like perked up. I said, "I'm sorry, you need to clarify for me a little bit. What do you mean by right or appropriate crowd?" And she kind of went silent, and it was so horrible on the silence. I said, "I'll wait. I'm going to wait." And she actually told me that the owners would prefer that it's a regular family. Again, I'm like, I don't understand what do you mean by regular family?
Right,
Like all this
right.
stuff. And I was like, I almost felt like, you know what? Go ahead and cancel the transaction. I think you're doing, and I was so angry. I was trying not to curse because my kids are around.
Right.
And I'm usually very well tempered. I don't like to curse a lot. And I said, "I'm sorry, we're in 2021 going to 2022. You do know what's happening in this world. You're not that far away. It's in somewhere in the middle of Connecticut. Like you're tri-state. Like I can't believe it. Is it because I take it for granted because we're in New York and I just feel like it's so normal? Like we think it's, like Ann said, it's so normal that it's not normal somewhere else, that if you go even further out. And I'm shocked because she wouldn't answer But I know she was basically telling me the owners don't want anyone that's not a regular mom, dad type kids, family with pets or whether your white picket fence. I was like so appalled by it. I said, please cancel this. And she's like, no, we really want you to visit. Your families are welcome. Because what? Because I have a husband and kids and another, and my sister has a husband and kids, like not coming. I knew exactly what she was for. It was it was a horrible interaction. I ended up hanging up on her and I just told them like, please cancel before I file a complaint with Airbnb, which I think I should have, but I didn't want to go down that whole conversation again.
Yep.
Stokes, are you comfortable sharing the name of the place that you called?
Oh, I am. Absolutely, I am.
As a
Because
Tennessean, I want to make sure that me and mine never solicit any of their business and spread the word that this is a place to not spend money.
It will not surprise you. It's in far eastern Tennessee. It's in Roan Mountain, which is the most conservative part of the state of Tennessee, which abuts the most liberal part of North Carolina. So it's there are a lot of earthquakes there. I think it's called Fairfield. Oh, we don't. I'll put it in the Slack. We don't want to get bogged down in Fairhaven Ministries.
Thank you.
Yes. That should have sort of tipped me off, actually.
Clearly not a haven.
Nor fair.
And it's so funny because I'm used to being in, I've been going to my Episcopal church for over 30 years, and I'm used to being in a Christian environment that is very friendly.
Yeah.
Even talk about that bubble. It's double thick. I mean, I'm in New York and I'm at an accepting church.
Exactly.
I will share my reunion story coming up. So I got the invitation to my 40th high school reunion. So you can all figure out how old I am. And I sent a Facebook message to one of my friends who's on the committee, and she said, oh, no, we really want you to come. We really want you to come. So I did all the registration, and I was talking to another person who's handling the registration, and that it was for myself and my husband. And there was this kind of a pause, and she said, oh, well, that's really great. She said, I'm sure you'll have a great time. She said, but it's not like you're going to be holding hands or dancing or anything, right?
Oh my God.
And I thought to myself, yeah, this is going back home to rural Indiana that would call themselves Christian, which is a nice way of saying Baptist, and that the bubble will be broken probably about as soon as I cross over the New Jersey state line, either flying or driving, and you hit Pennsylvania. The bubble's gone.
Tim, it's definitely not that she didn't remember your lack of rhythm at your prom, was it? The reason she didn't want to see you dancing.
Well, the other funny thing was that I was telling Justin that around this whole high school reunion thing, my elementary school bully contacted me out of the blue and are you coming to the reunion? And I'm like, yeah, well, I really hope to see you there. And I'm like, really? And he's like, well, yeah, why wouldn't I look forward to seeing you? And I'm like, well, I'm gay. And he said, well, yeah, we all knew that. We knew that when you were in, second grade. And it's like, okay. So I said, so, I just never really thought you were my friend. And he said, why would you think that? And I said, because of the way you treated me all through school. And there was, again, this really long pause. And the closest he got to an apology, in my opinion, was he said, well, we were kids and we were all stupid. So it's so interesting to be thinking about going back to rural Indiana. And there's a part of me that thinks there's some of them that just they've never seen they don't think they've ever seen a gay person before. And, you know, again, this whole question of, well, you're not going to be holding hands with him and kissing him, are you? And like, you're not going to dance with him. And I'm like, well, as much as any other, you know, married couple who come to a reunion. He said, well, yeah, but you know, you remember when we were in school, we were all making out with each other. And I'm like, yeah, I'm probably not going to be making out with my husband on the dance floor because I wouldn't have done that in high school. But there's just this strange sense of, I'm going to be under a microscope if I go back home, and it's going to be like they don't quite know. Some of them, I should say, just don't quite know what to expect or how to handle
it. Dame Judy needs attention. All right. Well, you know what? I have a suggestion for something that might help you to handle it. I think it's time to take a look at our alcoholic beverage recipe.
Good segue.
Yeah. All right, here we go. I tried to follow suit with Rory, kind of.
Let's make a pride cocktail, but first, to get some ingredients and change it to something more appropriate. There we go. We've got 2 ounces of grenadine, 1 ounce of peach schnapps, and 3 ounces of pineapple juice, half an ounce of blue curacao, and 1 ounce of vodka. Let's make our layers. First, we start with our grenadine. Then we're going to add ice really gently so it doesn't splash up. The ice is going to cushion the flow of the other liquids so that it stays in nice layers. There we go. Then we add our peach schnapps and pineapple juice. Give it a good shake with ice. And finally, our mix of blue curacao and vodka. Shake with ice.
Ooh.
If you want to blend a little more, give it a little swirly swirl, and taste that rainbow.
Fantastic.
That looks really good.
Yeah, it's an easy recipe, and I'll share it with everybody if you want.
And if you have 3 of them, you see Jesus.
Oh,
Jesus comes to visit you.
And if you have 4, you'll see Jesus and John.
John, maybe you should have a stand in the lobby on the first day back in September, and you can be handing them out as people walk in.
I was thinking of just bringing in food, but you know, we'll see.
I think that would be good. It would take their mind off any worries. That's for certain.
Yes. Well, you know, usually, I
have to interrupt everybody real quick.
What's that?
Apologies. I have a special guest here that wanted to say hello.
Oh my God! Ah! I knew you 2 were a couple the whole time. I knew it.
It's my work wife. Didn't you know that?
I knew it.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
What a great surprise.
Hi, Lisa. It's great to see you.
I was in the city. I hit him up, and we're gonna go have some drinks.
Awesome.
Nice.
The non-alcoholic kind.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Miss you all.
Miss you
Miss
too.
you too.
Guys and girls.
Bye.
I'm jumping off, John. Thank you so much for putting this together. We'll
Sure,
have a
have
drink in your
fun.
honor.
Please do. I'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.
That was really cool.
That was nice. Yeah. I haven't seen her in a little bit. All right. So how does everybody feel about starting some trivia? All right. We have a little, let me just get this set up. There they are. All right. You can play this on screen or on your cell phones. So we just go to joinmyquiz.com and then enter that game code number.
All right, hold on. This is on the interweb, right?
It is. Yep.
Join.
And again, it'll work on your computer browser or on your cell phone. So if you want to watch and play at the same time.
Okay.
All right, I see everybody's popping in.
Hold on. 988.
Oh, look at that. I didn't rename my quiz.
Okay.
All right, I'll give everybody a chance to pop in.
Not sure how I feel about my avatar being two bats in a web. Or whatever.
I'm not sure how they.
You're telling me I'm batty, John?
I'm Clifton Webb, by the way. He's my favorite gay icon in the movie.
Oh, there you go.
Gay as Christmas.
That's weird. It's not letting me join. Joinmyquiz.com.
Yep.
Ah, there we go.
Okay. Is there anybody who still is trying to sign on before I start it? Oh, somebody else come in. I don't want to shut anybody out. Oh, okay. There you go. There you go.
There's Justin.
All right. Is anybody not in who still wants to play? Okay, I'll start.
solving a mystery.
I
murder
know,
mystery.
exactly. Nancy and Dan and Ruth heading out to. All right, final question.
Wah.
Wow.
All right, Ruth, Justin, and Angie, congratulations. Nice job.
Thank you. What's the prize, John?
We don't have prizes now. Rory was going to offer her treats, but her son ate them all.
A cocktail recipe it is then.
I know, and we're not allowed to send cocktails themselves in the mail. So, all right. Well, thank you everybody for playing. I actually had some more details that I thought were supposed to pop up during the quiz, but they did not. So hold on a second while I get that. Pull back my little discussion questions.
So John, are we going to have send-off music before we go?
Send off music? Actually, no, I don't have music. All right, you know what? We are reaching the end anyway. I don't have music, but I do have the cocktail recipe for the.
I have
What's
one that we can play if you want me to.
Oh,
I have
yeah,
one that
by
we can
all
play
means,
if you want me
go
to.
ahead. If you've got the soundtrack, let's use it.
Well, can I share my screen and how do I make sure, Stokes, tell me how to make sure I do this right.
You're asking
I'm gonna
me
play
a
a
technical
video.
question?
Well, I don't know.
I
I'm
just
going
know
to
how
play a video.
I just know how to turn the damn thing on and off, and that's all. I just leave it on all the time, and then.
Yeah, unless you
Do I
share
have
it
to
through
do
your
anything?
speakers. Unless you share it through your speakers, I don't think I'll be able to pull up the video. I don't think we can share two things
Okay,
at the
well,
same time.
let's see if,
Just make sure
well,
your
let's see if
sound is on.
Yeah, you'll need to make
my-
sure
my
you're
sound-
sharing your sound.
The visual ain't bad.
I need to share my sound.
Keep that up
I
there,
need
and
to share my,
we can all
do
whistle.
I need to share my, do I need to share my sound through audio, through my
Yeah.
computer?
Yes.
Correct. Through the Zoom feature,
Okay,
yeah.
hold on. Okay, so I'm going to share through the computer audio. Okay, let's see what happens. Can you hear?
Yes.
When I was younger, no one could stop me from acting like a kid. I was too
That was fun. Right, and as promised, I will share the cocktail for the kids. Today is a really bad internet technology day. There we go.
And now let's make a beverage for the kids. We start out with orange juice, giving their vitamin C, and then we're going to add grenadine. You can also use cherry or strawberry or any other flavored syrup. And we're going to use a spoon to make it flow properly so that the layers form nicely. Watch this. So we're going to add our grenadine. And next we're going to add blue soda. Now there are some brands of blue soda out there. I couldn't find one, so I'm just using a berry flavored seltzer with 10 drops of blue food coloring. I'm also going to use the spoon to pour that. Slowly and carefully. There we go. Now we have a rainbow drink that kids can enjoy. Happy Pride.
That's great.
And I made one mistake there. I should have held that spoon closer to the surface, but you know, it still came out. So, well, I hope you all had fun. Oh, I did want to share with you like Pride resources. So I have a quick file I can share with you if you want to download that. And we're at the end of our day, so happy Pride to everybody.
Happy Pride.
Happy
Thank
Pride.
you.
Thanks, John.
Thanks you for
Very
coming
nice.
and
Happy
joining
Pride,
us.
everybody.
Yep, have fun.
Happy Pride. Bye-bye.
Happy Pride.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Bye.